hello. My second guest today is Christina Glickman, which I love that name so much. And she is the author of, is it Art of Being? And then Extra? Maybe it's the reverse of that. But I'm so excited to talk to her. Here we go. Pinning that. Great. All right. Timon's Kitchen, awesome. So the reason I'm late is because I was eating a breakfast burrito. My latest thing is getting these whole wheat tortillas, and they're so good. They're so inexpensive, and they make like 25 amazing meals. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, beautiful.
I figured you were jumping from one thing to the next, and when were you going to eat in between?
Burritos. Yeah, we're just.
I mean, and can you hear me okay? I do have a little microphone, but can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay, good. Good.
And it looks like some of your fans are joining because I'm seeing names that I don't recognize.
Oh,
and that's
well, that's so nice.
fun.
They can get to know you.
So my word. Okay, so your book came out like super recently.
Yes, it just came out. It came out almost 3 weeks ago, but it actually doesn't launch until Tuesday. So has been all pre-sale up until this point. So Tuesday is when it actually will kind of give birth to the world. And I had some author copies that some folks have seen, but yeah, so it's just like, giving birth to another child. It's kind of crazy.
Right, because do you have 2 children?
I have 4.
You have 4. Okay, nice.
I have 4.
I'm one of 4, and I'm the youngest of 4, and I'm so happy to have that number. I love it.
It's so nice too. And again, I grew up with just one sibling, but just that we have very big age ranges in our home. And I think that's such a gift to kids to be able to grow up with that. And so now I can really understand too, an older versus the last versus the middle, and they all play such different roles. So it's really kind of fun and exciting.
And how old is your oldest? So we have a sense of your.
Yeah, so the oldest is almost 25 and lives in New York.
Nice.
Then at home, I have a 15-year-old son, Ryder, and then a 12-year-old girl named Racer, and an 8-year-old named Rocket. So we have quite the range.
How are you all coping with the lockdown?
I gotta say, I think pretty well. And without kind of getting into a whole quarantine thing, we're homebodies anyways. I never really meant to create that culture, but we really do kind of hunker down. So I think the only thing that's really been tough for us is, first of all, you want to be grateful for your health, right? You want to be grateful that you can pay your bills. And once that foundation is kind of settled there, I think for us, it's just more of, we miss travel, like in summer plans. And I call those champagne problems. Like if those are your problems, take them all day long, right?
Yeah. And are you working with a partner, like for your family? Do you raise your children with a partner, or are you on your own?
Oh, no, I have a husband.
Okay.
Yes, his name is Adam. And it's so funny you just asked that, because just today I sort of put him out on my IG story. He's a creative director. He does all of the shoots and the photography. And I just always kind of laugh because, we've been together for 2 decades, but it's just kind of funny because he's always like behind the scenes. And so I thought like, I need to like put him out there and just say like, this is the guy that does it all. So he's
You're reminding
wonderful.
me of something, because you guys are in Chicago, right?
Yes.
There's this amazing, sorry, I'm going to flip my camera. There's this
you're
amazing guy that I used to work with who's like in the restaurant world in Chicago. And I've always wanted to do something with him. I wonder if maybe I'll end up connecting you to him. So Chicago. So how is Chicago? Just tell us quickly, like what's unique about Chicago right now in quarantine, like how the city's managing it. Because I haven't heard it too much. And then we'll get to
I think a few things. I think that our city in particular, our mayor has been pretty steadfast and strong about the shelter in place. And in fact, it was supposed to open up June 1st. And now I think she's extending it. And
what's her name again?
Mayor Lightfoot.
Yes. Lightfoot. Yeah.
And so I have ultimate empathy for businesses that are suffering tremendously, but I just also feel that we are still putting everyone at such risk because we've done such a good job for 2 months. I mean, my family, we really haven't left since March 17th. I mean, maybe the grocery store, and only because I just feel that if we just don't all do our part, we're going to be doing this a lot longer than we want. So you still see, even though we're supposed to always have masks on, you still see people outside, you see gatherings. and in my own opinion, again, no judgment, it's all compassion out there, is that I think people are now taking more license because they're tired of it.
Yeah.
And it's not based on science. I really think we all need to stay put a little bit longer, but I do understand that it's hurting children's mental states. It's hurting. So I don't,
Yeah.
I only take the opinion of one, which is my own, and that's it.
You're so elegant. I'm so excited to meet, like, I'm getting more and more excited to meet you, like, with every word you say,
You're so
because
sweet.
it's amazing these connections that we're making during quarantine. Like, it's somehow
It is.
all of them are like
Is.
perfect. I'm like, wow, I was meant
Isn't
to
it funny? And I
Yeah.
think that kind of goes back to, again, if you are able to sort of look at this as such an opportunity, right? And so for me, all of my launch plans for this book went down the drain, right? I wanted to do something fun in New York and something fun in Chicago. And suddenly I just thought, there is no like big marching band that's coming out to be like, your book's coming out. It's like, you're in quarantine, just launch it out there, just keep moving, keep going. And I think that the more we kind of look for the opportunity in it, the better it can be. Because again, you know, and I say that with such compassion, because not everyone can right now because they're really struggling. But if you can, I feel the only way that gets me up every day is if I can try to find the good. Because if I really do sit here and think about all the things that we're losing, I'll be paralyzed. I can't do that. So I just have to think about what we're gaining, because for me, it's just this day-to-day mentality. Otherwise, I just have a real tough time.
Oh, it's so inspiring. What's your morning ritual that helps you sort of establish that mindset for the day?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny. Again, I did not create this and say, oh, I better create this ritual, but it's happened. Yeah. And so one is I get up a good hour and a half before anyone in my house does. I never used to do that, but I felt like I need to do a little bit of a workout. I need to do my little routine of like, I write the day down, I put our diffuser on, and it sounds so silly, but it just helps. And then anyone that knows me knows I also like try to get dressed. I try to put my hoops on just for my Zoom calls, but otherwise I'll be in pajamas, but just to get myself going. And that's my Monday through Friday. Like I get up, I do my little workout, I'll do the thing. And that way I can get my kids e-learning and doing their thing. But I just think it's really tough to not have some form of a semblance in your life.
Right, on your own.
On your own.
Is the critical piece there that you have alone time first thing in the morning?
I think so, because I'm stressed out from the moment I wake up that I need to serve other people. That's just how I feel, whether it's work. Yeah. And also like I work for a company called Beauty Counter. So whether it's work or it's my children, I'm a responder. So I don't let things sit. So if you text me, I'm texting, and that's my own issue, but I'm a responder. So when you operate that way, the moment your eyes wake up, you're giving out. And so for me, right?
I love that you're bringing up that responder, because I feel there's so much, you're reminding me to feel pride in being a responder. Like there's so many people out there that don't respond to things and just like,
I know.
Yeah.
I've stopped trying to feel bad about that and take ownership of what that means. So when I get frustrated that I get everyone coming to me for things, I stop and say, but I created that, right? It's like people come to me because they know I'm going to respond. Yeah. And I actually would rather operate that way. And I don't know if you do enneagrams and all that kind of stuff, but I'm a total empath. I'm a helper. I'm one of those. And it's not because I'm Gandhi. It's just, that's just in my DNA. It makes me feel good to respond. But I've also realized that I can't count on the audience to respond in that way. So if I send you a message, I shouldn't project my own feelings about you responding. Yeah. Maybe you're not a responder, you know?
We're all vibing in this group right now. Okay, so someone says, I'm grateful for your daily calendar. Helps me remember the day. Okay, what's your daily calendar, Christina?
Which is so funny. Again, I never did this before, but it's a little whiteboard. And in the morning, I put the diffuser on and I write like, whatever, Sunday, May 24th. And I put like a little good morning music on, but it's how I start every day. And I put a timestamp on it. And I only started doing this during quarantine only because my kids go to Montessori, and Montessori, this is what they do. They write on the board and they say the day is this. And it just started to feel comfortable of like the day has started.
So let me get this clear. And by the way, I went to Montessori as a little kid too.
Oh, nice.
But what is so there's a little whiteboard. So how we can mimic this at home is you have a little whiteboard that's a dry erase. And you write on it, you just write on Sunday, May 4th.
That's it. And I make my little heart, and I kind of, if somebody's writing, it's in the tunes too. Oh yeah. And then I just put like a little good morning song on it. And it started right when we started homeschooling, because it gave me this like sense of getting started for the day. You know, I never did that before. And something else too, and obviously we'll get to know each other, is that I'm not a big, I don't have grand plans. I never had plans to write a book. I don't have these, I just kind of go within the moment, and it helps me because I think that otherwise we get in our own way, right? Like if I had, that's what was stopping me even from, this book was done quite a long time ago, and it was sitting on Amazon and nobody even knew because I wasn't ready to like put it out there because I was waiting for like all these big ideas, right? Like I got to do this and I got to do that. And I'm like, you know what? That's not happening. We're in this wonky time. So anyways, so back to the
Take us back to when Kasha asked an amazing question. So let's answer it quickly. Kasha's a filmmaker in LA, and she asked, is your husband a responder?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and also, I mean, thank goodness he is, because that would be tough for me if he wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Take us back to your 20s, Christina. Who were you when you were in your 20s? Like, did you already, maybe it's fair enough to say you already had a kid. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
So I didn't even get married till I was 29. So I had kids later.
Yeah.
But no, I worked in an advertising agency. I was a client service director. I was 100% like, you know, cliche, you know, driven businesswoman. I wanted to head to the top and like do all those things. I started working right when I was 21 out of college. And it's where I met my husband, because we both worked. He was a creative director. I was a client service director. And of course I met him there because all I did was work. And so my 20s, again, I always knew that I'd have a family because I love children and I knew I wanted to be a mother, but I never had this big plan of like, I'm going to have 5 kids and their names are going to be this. And I just knew I'd get from A to B, but I couldn't tell you how.
Yeah.
But I had faith that it would happen in that way. I don't know if that helps. So my 20s for me were all about me and building me. And I didn't really, all I cared about was really building my career and, you know, being a confident businesswoman.
When did you cut your hair short?
Oh, that's a great story. It's in the book.
Oh my God, I need you to flip through this book just so we can get a
Oh, sure. So it's in the book, you know, and there's just, you know, there's pictures, there's quotes, you know, it just depends on the page. Then there's stories. I can tell. Oh, it's fine. It's a little bit about, again, the book is really, just before I get to the hair, the book really was born out of, again, I'm 47 and I feel like another part of me is my career with Beauty Counter. And I've been with women for 5 years now, where I feel like the majority of my job has been sort of trying to inspire confidence in them and give them permission to be themselves.
Yeah.
And so through that process, I realized that I feel that, you know, we're all put here for some reason, whatever it might be. And for me, I realized for me, it was about serving other women. And again, it could be anybody, but women in particular. And that's why this book came about, which was just about my own words and my own writings. And so my hair, that story is just about how funny. I was out in LA, I was out on a shoot. We were doing finesse hair care. You're younger than I am, so I don't even know if you know what finesse hair care is or was. Okay. It's like suave and stuff like that. Basically the hairstylist on the shoot, she was the celebrity to the stars, right? And at the time it was like Meg Ryan and whoever else. And she kept saying to me on the shoot, I want to cut your hair. I want to cut your hair. And it was long. I had long hair my whole life, like to here.
Yeah.
And I said, no, you know, hair's my security. I don't want to do it. The last day of the shoot, we were literally out into a field. I was in like a little director chair and there's no mirrors, no nothing. And I let her cut it. And I came out with this. And I cried my eyes out and, you know, thought I looked like a boy and I would never live again. And I think in a weird way, it was a turning point for me. Again, not planned, but it just became this thing. And part of the thing about the book that I write too, and apologize if I'm getting off on a tangent, but part of it is that, you know, how you put yourself together. And the book isn't about, have crazy hair and wear colors and dress in a certain way. I want someone to be themselves, like whatever it is that makes them feel good, because it doesn't make me feel good to wear, you know, a preppy Izod. Like that's not me. I would feel suffocated. So the whole idea behind the book is that I want someone to be their ultimate self. and whatever that looks like. And it's not easy, it's not easy to give yourself that permission.
How many different styles of comfort are there, Christina? Because a lot of us are prioritizing comfort because we're at home, and every single person has a way of being comfortable that feels good for them, right? So what's your style of being comfortable at home?
Well, I think it also just depends. For me, comfort is also an equation to productivity. So if I want to be comfortable in my day and feel productive, then I need to like put earrings on, and I need to put a shirt on. I need to feel like I'm getting up and going, because otherwise that level of comfort to me, if it's too comfortable, I don't want to do much. So for me personally, I actually couldn't work all day in a robe and be productive.
Yeah.
I'd get kind of lazy. Like it just wouldn't work for me. And so, but the other thing about comfort is that it actually doesn't even matter if you have on, I mean, for me, like a fabulous Gucci outfit and all these wonderful things. Yeah. If you are not confident in your own skin, you will never be comfortable. I don't care what you have on. I don't care how beautiful you are. I don't care about any of that, because I think we all know, you've seen someone that is such an attractive, aesthetic person. Yeah. But if they don't feel confident in themselves, it kind of all like dwindles away.
Do you feel like your confidence goes up and down with hormones, like through the month, or that kind of thing?
It does. It absolutely does. But I think that I'm aware enough to just sit in it and feel it and know that I'll come out of it. And that's normal. I mean, my goodness. I mean, everybody is nervous, uncomfortable. I mean, you can't just be out there beating your chest like, I'm so confident in everything. I mean, I'm sick to my stomach that people are going to get this book in their hands. And what if they think it's a bunch of junk? I mean, and so I process that by saying, I kind of always filter it down to, so what's the worst case? What's the worst case? They take the 2 seconds to say, oh, that was kind of a crappy book. And then they move on with their day. And if they like me, they still like me. Yeah. And that's okay. Yeah. And I say this to my kids all the time, which is so true. No one cares about you. And I mean it in the nicest way. No one's thinking about you. If they are, it's for a second, and they're going back to themselves in a minute. So that's just a recurring theme whenever I get in my own head about confidence and not giving myself the permission to even like launch a book. Like, why would someone want to hear from me? I'm not special. Why do I need to be doing all this? And then you just kind of take a step back and you say, this is my truth. It's something that I want to share with everyone. And anybody that really knows me knows my intention. And those are the people that actually matter most.
Yes. Kasha says, don't be afraid of being the badass that you clearly are. I love that. It's like a Bronx Tale. Nobody cares. Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Walk us back to where the book started.
Sure. So the book really started because I had lost both my parents, and then my mom about a year or so ago. And I've been a caretaker, I feel like, for a lot of my life, a lot of my adult life. And suddenly, after she had passed, it almost felt like it opened up this little sliver that could be about me. Because it's either been about my kids or my parents or, and again, I'm telling you this story now. This wasn't planned. It wasn't like, oh, my mom passed, now let's write a book. None of that. It really started from, and I'll try to make this a little bit quick. It started because, again, I work for this company, Beauty Counter, which I love. It's my career. It's an advocacy thing that I love. But there was a part of me that needed another creative outlet. And because I came from that, but I kind of like lost it a little bit. And so I said to my husband, Adam, I was like, I need to get back to either fashion or something that gives me more joy. So I said to him, I'm going to have you start taking pictures of me in like my outfits. He's like, okay. And like, this is our back room. It's where the kids play. And as he started to do that, I said to myself, I want to keep putting stuff out into the world through the filter of what gives me joy. And like the example I'll give you is that a lot, people will say to me all the time, do you tag your clothes? Do you tag your diffuser? Do you tag? And the reality is I don't do any of it because I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm actually just trying to be myself and hope that the message resonates in some way. And so then the book was born because I realized through that journey that my biggest joy is speaking to women. And I thought, okay, my Oprah dream, right, is I want to be a speaker to women, like putting it out there, like that's what it is. And I thought, well, the only way I can probably do that is if I create a platform, which is a book, so people know who I am. Otherwise, they're like, well, who's this chick? Like, what does she got to say? So I say all that knowing if nothing ever would happen again with any of this, that's okay. Like,
I love you. Okay. Do you do any programs like Landmark? Have you done any personal development programs that help?
I've done none. I
None.
highly
No
think they're
groups.
amazing, but I've done none.
You don't do any groups like every week? You don't meet with the same peeps? Nothing
No.
like that? Okay.
No, I think they're amazing. And again, given the organization I work in, they're always about personal growth and development and all those
Right.
things. And so I believe in them wholeheartedly. I just haven't myself done them.
Yeah. It says low battery.
Oh.
So at some point I might go and run for a Mophie.
Yeah. Okay.
How did you find like your editor? How did you did you start with your writing process, or did you start with finding an agent and pitching a book? How did you start?
No, again, I will say totally clueless and running. No idea what I was doing. I first found like this publisher through a friend. They told me the process about getting a publisher to actually like pay to do the book. And I was like, ugh, no way, shape, and form. I'm self-publishing. I need to get this thing out.
Yeah.
So I went down that route immediately. Although the first publisher that I did have completely, do you want to get your charger?
I'm going to bring you with me. I'm just,
oh,
I'll bring you into the house.
Yeah. And so the first person that I met with, she completely, said to me on many occasions, this book will never sell because it's not this, it's not that. What kind of book are you trying to do here? And at the end of the day, I ended up just listening to my gut, and I was like, we're not meant to be together here because it's just not working. So I went a totally different route and just kind of did it all on my own. Now I had the benefit of my husband, who's a creative director, so he really edited everything for me, which was super helpful. And
tell us a little bit about him while we have him on your tongue. Like where?
Oh, sure.
I mean,
he's fantastic.
He's at an ad agency?
Yeah. Well, now he's a freelancer, but back in the day, that's how we met at an agency. And he's one of the most sort of humble people I've ever met, but he's won the Super Bowl many times. He's wildly talented. And
when he does this, because I feel like that's something that really stood out to me about you when I first saw you, is like the photos that he takes of you. So I have a couple questions about those. Like, what are his guiding principles when he's taking a shot of you?
Huh. So funny. We just did a little video about that, and I said on the video, like, I'm the worst because, well, first of all, his photography is his love, and so he always has his camera. So the fact that he can take these beautiful pictures that are so candid is because he's always shooting. Like, it's just become part of his arm, so it's always there. Yeah. And when it comes to me, I'm so lucky that he gets me, because I will only let him take a picture like twice, and then I'm out. Like, I have no patience. It's like, I'll stand there. I'm like, did you get it? He's like, I only took one shot. I'm like, are we done? So, and he's all about lighting and all these amazing things, and I don't let him do it. So he's really technical. And honestly, I used to think that he just had a great eye because he always photographed my kids. And so I thought he's wonderful. But then when he started photographing other people and places, I realized just quite how talented he really was.
Yeah. What are you thinking when you're taking these shots? Do you have like a mantra in your head, or is it like,
no, I'm thinking, is it over? I don't like doing it. I don't like doing it because that was also a problem for me, and a message that when I started doing it, I got a lot of side eyes. Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to be a model? Are you trying to be an influencer?
You would get questions like from friends, from strangers.
Yeah, like kind of like stink eye, kind of like judgy, like, what are you trying to do? Like, that's weird. And I just kind of always would filter back to, no, I'm trying to express myself, and how I express myself is how I put myself together. And I just kind of stayed in my lane, because I think the moment that you allow other people to guide your path, you're in trouble. Like, you just are. And so I would have immediately started going someplace else had I listened to all that. So I stopped.
There's like expression shaming, or it's like extra shaming. It's like shaming a sense of being extra, whether it's being like too emotive, too honest, too out there. And it really goes all under the category of shaming creativity, because it's just like spontaneous creative expression, whatever it is that we're all putting out. Tell us what that word extra means to you and why it ended up in your title.
Well, it's so funny because I know that if someone doesn't know me, they think it's all about the look, right? The crazy hair, the patterns, the whatever. And that is so far from actually what I think about myself. When I think about extra, I think it's about how I lead my life, and how and again, when I say these things, I always have to say that it's not because I think I'm so amazing and I'm so special and all these things, but I've always gone that extra step. The extra step to make somebody feel loved, the extra step to be there for someone, the extra step to put myself in a career where I worked hard. Like, I just never really stopped at that. And it's important to me to have that intention. And so for me, extra isn't actually about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a way of life and how I live. And that's why I called it the art of being, because it's really about yourself. And so that's why I know it doesn't seem intuitive, but my book isn't about make yourself extra so you look like these things. It's about expressing yourself in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. What about someone, I mean, I remember walking in New York with my friend Worthy, and like, she comes from the fashion world, and she's like, she finally explained something to me that I've been like wondering about. I mean, she just was saying, because I've always been so annoyed by people who kind of like hold back and do less and like don't say and don't, it's like, it's this hard, like what she basically explained to me is it's sort of like a technique that some like cool kids use, is to like to withhold. I think that's how she explained it. Like, it's become cool in certain circles to withhold. And like, you know, there's a lot of like mystique around like people who withhold and don't give that extra love, attention, engagement. And it's not me, it never will be, but it's at least interesting to think about it. Like, for someone who's your reader, who's just like, you know, it's not really in my style to give extra. Like, how can they relate to that? You know, if it is a genuine personality type, to like be introverted and be
right. I think that's a great question, because extra, I think, definitely makes you think that you have to be out there in that way. But I actually don't think that is. I mean, for me, it's just about the addition of how you can be serving yourself or somebody else in that way, if that makes sense. And so, I mean, for me, I guess I go back to, at the end of the day, you know, you're the one that puts yourself to bed at night and lays your head on your pillow. Some days we do great, some days we don't do great. So I would just say, what is it that can give me joy, that can serve others and make them feel happy? And that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, grandstanding and like making a video about it. It doesn't have to be that. And I'm going to tell just a really quick funny story, because I think that this relates to when you're saying like people are kind of like too cool for school. And so I shared the story. Well, I shared the story not to be like braggadocious about my husband, but it's got a point. So a few years ago, he was lucky enough to be nominated for an Emmy for one of his commercials. So we're like, oh my God, we're going to go on the red carpet. Like, that's the biggest deal. And the reason I love this story is because, I mean, I was so excited. And I mean, I've never been on a red carpet like that. Why would I? And so we went and we were allowed to walk it because he had, you know, won or was up for an award. And, you know, people would take the pictures and realize we're nobodies, and then they'd move on. But we get to the Kodak Theater, and we get to the very end, and we're with all these other people who are, what I believe, are acting like very cool, which is a normal thing to probably want to feel. And I look at my husband, I'm like, oh no, we're going again. We're going again. Like, let's loop around 2 times. We literally walked it twice. And I remember everybody was like, oh my gosh. And I kept saying, just like, own the moment. I'm never going to experience this again.
For everybody.
Yes.
Nobody like, here for this is an average day.
So the people that I was with were just like, oh, and acting like, and I was like, are you kidding me? I'm not going to ever do this again the rest of my life. I am walking twice. And so like, it's just that idea that the second that you are able to wear yourself, you give somebody else permission to do that too. Because suddenly and for whatever reason, the more we can disarm ourselves, we disarm the person we're with. And so, you know, and the other thing is that when people ask me about confidence, the funny thing is that I have so much confidence because I don't know. And I'm fine with that.
Do you still have topics that you debate whether to share or not? Or have you like pronounced yourself like a totally open book and like
no, I'm not a totally this is where I land with that. Like I share what I want to share. And that's just really it. I mean, and so far I haven't had to go down a route that wasn't uncomfortable to me, but every time I think about anything I want to share, I filter it through, does that give me joy? I'm not to sound rude, but I'm not doing it for you, right? Like, I've got to do it for myself. Otherwise, I think I become manufactured. I share the things I love. I share my kids. I share that we bake. I share our travels. You won't see me doing something that's not authentic to me.
How do you see your kids navigating social media?
They really don't, to be honest. Like
So
even
you're
my
the most active of all
yeah.
6 of you. You're the
Yeah,
active.
I mean,
Okay.
my son does because he's into music and producing and doing that stuff. So he's got a whole music thing that I don't even understand, and he like blocks me from things, so I don't even know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But and I mean that in a good way. I don't
Yeah.
think he's doing anything wrong. My almost seventh grader doesn't even have a phone.
Yeah.
So and Rocket, the little one, doesn't. So it's not
Yeah.
much of their lives.
So let's talk about the book. Tell me,
Okay.
do you have like a favorite page in the book or a favorite spread
Um,
that you can show us? Maybe you can do like your
sure.
favorite photo and then your favorite quote.
Um, I always liked this one. I'll just open it up to one. Okay, so I don't know if you
Okay.
can see this. I can't see what I'm showing you. Okay, so there's this, and I can read it for you.
Nice.
And so this one is about, you're given a choice, bring people up or take them down. Be someone's champion today, starting with your own. And I think it's because, again, a lot of these quotes came from how I parent, which is life is hard enough. People want to take you down because they want to lift themselves up. And so be a champion for other people, but you got to start with yourself.
Yeah.
You got to start with yourself because, I mean, I'm sure you feel this way too, that, we do a good enough job of being hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't need other people to do that.
What has changed since the beginning of 2020 for you?
Oh gosh. So much has changed. You know what? So much has changed, but so much hasn't changed. So much has changed because things that I look forward to and sort of carrots out there have been taken away, right? But then so much of it has been reflective in the sense that I can honestly say that within my little family unit, that it's a reflection that we're doing life right.
Mm-hmm.
Because all I ever really want to do is be around my people. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, not much has changed. Those champagne problems have changed. I want to go on vacation. I want to see my friends. I want to do, but the core of all of it hasn't.
Yeah.
Now, I say that knowing full well that we are in a state of disarray, and I don't want to be tone deaf to those things that are happening outside, but I'm talking about normal life stuff.
I want to ask you about beauty too, because you're like, you know, you're a veteran in the beauty industry.
Sure.
You've been a managing director at Beauty Counter. You've held all sorts of positions creatively. What creative opportunities, I should say, which creative opportunities do you think are showing up during this time of quarantine and afterwards in the new world that we will co-create after this?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people have been juggled around. People have lost jobs. And so we have all these creative people who are ready to be deployed for their own missions, for other missions. So what are the opportunities that you see within beauty and within creativity?
Well, I'd say within the beauty category, it's one of the categories that's actually thriving out there versus like anything else. I mean, you look at like retail stores, 100,000 retail stores are now closing their doors. And so I'll talk specifically about the category, then specifically about Beauty Counter.
Yeah,
and
please.
So the category of beauty is up because people are doing Zooms. They are wanting to make sure they take care of their skin. They've got more time to do that. They want to maybe put on some more makeup. Now, the reason I think that Beauty Counter has been so successful these last couple of months is because we're a company that, if you don't know, is based on health and safety. So we only create products that are safe for human health. And so you've got that element. So people are looking for health and safety, but then we're on a digital platform. So now suddenly I'm able to offer jobs to people because I only sell my beauty products online. Well, you're not going to a store, it ships right to you. So now you've got a business element that is coupled with the beauty category. So you're going to just see a lot more of that, a lot more home-based businesses and a lot more side gigs, a lot more of those kind of hustles. And, it's exciting. I mean, we even have now it's kind of funny to actually have celebrities join as consultants. Like Molly Sims just became a Beauty Counter consultant. It's kind of funny. They're actually taking it to that step. Yeah. So I think that landscape has changed. I also think that the whole Gen Z market is now getting involved because their internships are canceled. Their plans after college are not there now. And if they're interested in beauty, they have this health and safety, which is coupled with this advocacy work because we do a lot of work in Washington to change the laws. And so there's a lot of opportunity in the beauty market.
Yeah, I love that you put as an umbrella kind of like companies, if you're thinking of starting a business, think about health and safety as a priority and then having a digital brand or digital platform. Yeah. And if we can sort of work under that umbrella, we can create lots of interesting things. And I love what you said that, beauty businesses are thriving,
Yeah.
unlike so many other businesses right now, because people have more time on Zoom. They have more time in general.
Right.
I love that. You and your book, who ended up being your editor?
Me,
Was
Adam.
it your husband?
Yeah.
Editor as well?
Yeah. And
Amazing.
I think that again, if anything, it should encourage people to just do what they want to do. And there's not really a right way or a wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that if I put a lot of these handcuffs on me, it would have never been born.
Yeah.
And so I felt the need to just kind of go.
Yeah. Can you talk about yourself as a woman who is generating wealth for her family and,
Yeah.
making decisions that allowed you to have a strong and secure income?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, even right now, like my husband, no one's shooting commercials. So
Yeah.
he's not working. I'm the sole breadwinner of our family right now. And thank goodness I have Beauty Counter. Thank goodness I can work from home and take care of my kids. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a gift. And so I think a few things about whether it's tied to a financial income or not. It was also important to me to be tied to a social mission. I felt like if I'm going to spend time doing something, that I wanted to actually be not to be cheesy, better the world. Like I might as well, I'm going to make a paycheck anyways. And instead of maybe working for Pepsi, I would rather work for something that's actually going to be so that my kids someday can pick up a product and not have toxins on their body. Like,
yeah.
That's a nice win, right? It's
Yes.
a nice win. So for me, that is, but equally important was the mission, but is the income. I mean, life's not free. So, we live in the city. My kids go to a private school. We have a lot of bills. So it's like, it was important to me to be able to create that kind of wealth for my family so that we could have the lifestyle we wanted. And when I say lifestyle, I mean time together. I don't mean things.
Somebody's asking, BC is my business. Is your book on Amazon?
Yeah.
Have you already gotten reviews on the book?
No, because they don't let you write the book. They don't let you write the reviews till Tuesday, because Tuesday is the official day that it ships. So you can buy it now, but that's the official day it ships.
Can you show us some other favorite highlights from the book?
Sure.
Sense of why we want it on our coffee table.
Oh, you're so nice. I thought this one was resonating with people now. So if you can see, it's like, here's the picture, right?
So awesome.
And then here's the little thing. But this one, it just says, don't underestimate the power of stillness. Sit there, thinking is moving. And I've had a lot of people reach out to me about that one in particular, just because I think that right now in particular, the pressure to do and move and go is there, but yet we also have this other side of us, which is like kind of down and sad and depressed and not wanting to do much. And so there's this weird thing happening. And so I keep saying, at least to my friends and family, it's like the benchmark is pretty low, which is the foundation should be, are you safe? Are you loved? Is your family okay? And if that's okay, then you can go to the next step, which is like giving yourself the grace and kindness to sit with it, think through things. Like the added pressure to be doing is just so high. And so my whole thing is, thinking is part of the journey. Stillness is part of it. Sitting with things is part of it.
Someone asked about the hard copy. So do you like the paperback just as much as the hard copy?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What about selling to local? Like I've been, for instance, there's this book, Heartburn by Nora Ephron, that I started on Kindle. And I've told so many people this story. I've gotten to the point where like it's now $12.99 to buy it and go further with it. And I'm thinking, I've also gotten the knowledge that like, independent bookstores are struggling. So should we be buying books from independent bookstores? Are you going to put it in any Chicago bookshops so we can order from there?
I've gotten that question too, which is not hard, but I support B Corps. I support all. I just actually didn't have the bandwidth to figure it all out. That's the honest truth, which is launch a book, put it on Amazon, there it goes. And also, I never really thought about my future with the book. I thought my future would be talking to women. And this was just the kind of the vehicle to get there. So the answer to that is yes. I do a lot of samples, right, on iBooks or whatever. I'll sample it out, and then if I want more. But to me, this is a book of, I think it's I like to be able to just pick something up and flip through it, and it doesn't take me much time, and I'll get a little nugget and I'll keep going. So that's the book that I feel it is, and it speaks to me in that way. So that's probably why I created that.
I see women saying you're such an inspiration. I love your style. And I just like,
that's so nice.
it lights me up to see someone like you just being a spokesperson for like the goodness in life and joy and confidence and spirit. It makes me also want to ask you, what were the hard lessons you learned in life? Because for me, every ounce of confidence I have has to do with hard lessons and going through really hard patches and doing things
absolutely
really wrong. So what for you were like your hard lesson moments?
Well, I think that a few things and I always tell my kids that I think the red carpet of life is not the way to go. I mean, I think that the badges and the scars and the wounds is all the like beauty that we create in ourselves. And if we don't have that, I mean, I guess lucky you, but in the same time, I think it creates who you are. And I think for me, probably the two largest things are losing my parents. And not because, I mean, that's how life works and you lose people you love. But I think that it's really about how you show up for that, how you handle it after, how you walk the walk, and all of those things, because it's so much bigger than I lost my parents and I had to deal with death. It's about how did you lead your life up into that point? Like, are you proud of yourself? Did you really show up in the way you're supposed to in your brain, not to somebody else? And so for me, that's given me, even during quarantine, it's funny, and again, no judgment, but people that are very, very nervous and worried, my filter is always like, the world's not going to end today. Do you know the people that you love are safe and they're okay? Okay, then that's all right. Then I'm not going to worry at this moment about math facts or like and I don't mean to minimize these important things, but it's allowed me to always drill down to the most important thing, which is, are my people here and are they safe and loved? Because if they are, all the rest can kind of be worked out. You know?
Lindsay just ordered your book.
Oh,
I love it. I just like
you're so sweet.
So much. It's like we're all, I think, being really thoughtful about what we invest in right now. Because, some people have the same income, but most of us have had an income adjustment. Yeah. And it's so important to put your money in what you believe in right now.
Well, and I think that's funny, too, is that, it's so easy to look and think that everybody else has it better and easier than you do, right?
Yeah.
That's a natural feeling. But the reality is that it's just not true. And no matter who you are, we all have our issues, right?
Yeah.
And something that's really hard to grapple with, I always say that, like, it's okay to have the word and, right? I can be grateful for my health and sad that I didn't get to go on vacation. I can be grateful that I have a roof over my house head, but sad that my husband has no job right now. Like, you can be two things at once.
Yeah.
And I think that living in that space is important because it allows to let that little rainbow come in. Because if we don't allow for that, again, that's just me. I don't know how to function. And sometimes, my husband jokes around that I'm like, I close my ears and I'm like, la, la. Because if I can't do something with it today, that just sits in anxiety for me. If I can't, I'm not going to fix when my kids can go back to school. I'm not going to fix when my husband's going to get a job. I can't do that today. Today, I can tell you I love you. I can make sure that your heart is feeling okay. And we're going to like pick up the pieces and start tomorrow.
What do you do, like, let's say for one of your kids when they're feeling really bummed out?
Yeah. One is that I don't try to fix anything because that annoys me as an adult. A lot of times I don't want you to fix me. I want you to hear me. I want you to see me. I want you to validate it and just be there. So when my kids are having any issue, I just sit and I listen and I hug them and say, that must be really hard. And I just sit there. And then, then if it goes further, I mean, it depends on their age. Of course, I'd offer advice. Of course I would. But I think most of us just want to be seen, right? And really felt and validated. And I have a lot of friends that I adore and they're fixers.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't want you to fix me. I just want you to hear.
What are you resisting, if anything?
In my brain to go into the future too far. When I'm resisting going to steps 10, 12, 14, nope, I'm going to go to step 2. I'm resisting
yourself
that.
One step, 1 foot at a time.
Yep.
What did it feel like when you had the book in your hands and you were feeling it for the first time?
I cried. And I cried with my kids because they read that little opening dedication thing. And I think I just cried. Okay, this is going to be super morbid. But again, I don't plan anything that comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I think I also cried because, again, I've had a lot of death in my life.
Yeah.
That if I were to die, like, this is me.
Yeah.
Like, they had a piece of me. Like, I had this whole, like, thing of no matter what happens to me now, they know their mother. They
Yes.
know who I am, which is silly. Of course they know who I am, but there was a relief in leaving a piece of me.
Love that. Yes. What was the piece of the book that you debated the most, include,
Oh, I did a lot. Yeah. I did certain chapters at first about the kids. And I also did one about my dad and the whole thing. And then I don't remember, I think it was probably Adam. Poor guy's the only one I talked to about it. He's like, if this is supposed to be more of like a coffee table, inspirational kind of book, nobody cares about this part of it all. So that was a struggle for me. So I took a lot out. I mean, it's 120 pages, but I took out a lot because I just figured, again, if my ultimate goal is to just try to, talk to women, and hopefully make a change for them, the book is a stepping stone to it.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's just more.
Your relationship to your mom, I love what you said, where you were like, somehow after she passed, you have this new creative space.
Yeah.
It's something I relate to in a very specific way. Like sometimes I wonder, would I write about some kind of controversial topic? And then I'm like, maybe I would do that after my parents were gone.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and what Kasha brings up here, and she's in LA, and she goes, she says what you're saying is really sweet. And she goes, most people don't know their parent as a person, only as a parent. And I really relate to that too. So in the child position, how can we help elicit our parents into becoming more people-like? What kind of questions should we be asking if we want to really know the person more?
Well, I think that
prison of the role.
Yeah. Well, I think also, I mean, what a joke. I used to say that I was going to be so much more than just a mom, right? Like I used to say that, but then once you have a child, to me, they're all consuming. It's all you're absorbed with. Like you can't help yourself. But I think it's just so important that we are expressing whatever our own thoughts, ideas, passions, that you're so much more than just being defined by that. Like to me, you're defined by your heart and your actions, not a label of like, I'm a beauty counter worker, I'm a whatever. Like, it's just, I think it's opening that expression of what a definition is of who you are. Mm-hmm. And to me, who you are all the small things. It's all the acts of kindness. It's all about, for me again, how do you make somebody feel? Like when you're with someone, and I mean, this is going to sound so like ridiculous, but like I get so much joy out of like going to Target and seeing my same checkout people and just like, how are you? Like,
nice.
I just think that the small things of the world are what make it all up. It's every small movement that adds up to the big one, right? And I don't think I answered your question, but
you did absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know. So that's just.
I'll ask you a lighthearted question. What are the best things at Target? What are the must buys?
I love Target. I am such a high-low shopper, thank goodness. And the best things at Target, I love the clothes at Target. I can find some of the best items. But again, I don't go to Target to shop. Like I'll see something and I just grab it and put it in my cart. And most of the time, like I'll cut off the sleeves or I'll like make it into my own in a little bit of a way. But yeah, I think you just have to be open. Look in the men's department, look in the boys, look in I look in every department.
Where else do you shop? Because your clothing is so cool. Where do you shop?
Well, that's nice. I don't actually think it's the clothes. I think it's the way you put it together. Yeah. Because I really don't think it's that. I mean, I don't also set out to shop. If I'm even on Instagram and I see something that I really like, I'll buy it in that moment because I think it's something different. But I don't really go shopping. I don't actually really like to go shopping. It's like
you're
too
not
much
like a big vintage shopper. You don't go to Goodwill, that kind of thing.
No, I'm much more of I see it, I get it.
Okay. Yeah. What about has spending always been comfortable for you? Have you always had an income where like spending is just sort of like I don't need to watch it so much? Or
I've never had that.
Never had that. Okay. So you always feel like you are making very conscious choices of like, should I buy this? Should I not?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
And what's your rubric? How do you know when something is worth buying?
Well, that's why I said I'm very high-low. If I know that it's a piece that I justify by saying I'll pass it down to my kids.
Okay.
Right? Or, because again, anyone that knows me, like I'm a huge Gucci fan. So I always feel like that my parents passed stuff down to me and I will pass down
Cool.
to my kids. And so, also if it's like a jacket or something that can be worn more than once, or
Yeah.
like that's worth it to me. You know, I have a harder time spending, like I just saw these amazing like harem like jogger pants that were like $500, and I'm like I love them, but
Yeah.
is that really necessary? They're not really special.
Yeah.
So
You're tall, aren't you?
yeah, I'm
How
five
tall
nine,
are you?
five
5'9".
nine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Do you purge your closet? How often?
Yes.
Or are
All
you
the
a
time.
maximalist that never gets rid of anything? Okay, so you say
Mm-mm.
you purge it all the time.
Yes.
Um, what
Huge purger.
what do you do with the clothes when you're getting rid? And or do you want to do an auction with me online?
Oh my God, I will. I give them away. I've always given them away. I put garbage bags together and I just give them away to anybody that wants them. I don't, I mean, I don't give away like my jackets that are really good that I'll keep. Um, but no, I really, I'm also, I'm like an anti-hoarder. Like I don't like stuff around it. Like I can't breathe. Like I need space and clean. And
Yeah.
so I get rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. How do you design your home? Like what are your principles and what does your home look like? Does it reflect your
Sure.
personal style?
It does. It does. So we live in a warehouse in the middle of the city, and we purposefully created it because we wanted to have an outdoor space. So we used sort of the parking lot that was to this warehouse as a yard and like where the kids can play, which is kind of unique for the city, right? Because we didn't want to leave the city, but we wanted to have a large enough space for the kids. So it's like a big loft. We don't have hardly any doors in our house, and 28-foot ceilings, and it's all wide open.
Nice.
So
Cool. Do you edit your photos? Do you have any rules when you're editing your photos? Are there stuff
no, I
to
mean,
show, don't want to show?
yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I will always edit it to try to make myself look better, right? Like
Yeah.
a filter or whatever. I mean, I'm never gonna like give you a picture where like my stomach rolls hanging out. Like of course
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that it looks good, but nothing extreme. Like again, my filter is if I in fact want to have a connection with people and always out there, I can't take a million hours to
Yeah.
like put something together. And so no, I mean the most stylized things are the pictures Adam takes, but honest to God, it takes us 5 minutes. We go out into the alley. I live in the city. We go into the alley, he shoots the picture, and like I'm done. And then he like makes it look pretty and does stuff.
Who are your style icons, like your all-time favorite inspiration people? And also, I don't mean that to say like Madonna and so on and so forth, but also like people you follow on Instagram where you look at them
Yeah.
every day. You're like,
Yeah.
these inspire me. These photos inspire me.
Yeah. One is Jennifer Fisher. She's the jeweler. And I just love her because I love her jewelry, period. And I think she's a great human being and kind and all the rest. And I just love her look is very much clean lines. Again, not like mine. I think it's more understated than mine, but she's one. And then I don't even know how you say her name. Blair Redeby? Blair, what's
How
her
do you
name?
spell it?
She does Atlanta Pacific, Blair. What's her name? She does a lot of color.
Atlanta Pacific?
Yeah, Atlanta
Okay.
Pacific. And what else? I really say that I don't really look anywhere else. Does that
Okay.
sound funny?
What
Yeah.
about magazines? Do you like love like The Cut or any like are there any people you
No.
follow on Instagram where you're like, I check it every day?
No, I'm quite boring. No.
Well, you have a lot going on. You have 4 children.
Well, I mean,
You
I
have a
think
job and
well,
a
I
book.
think for me it's like I work all day, right? Like
Yeah.
I work all day. And so a lot of my Instagram feed is just my friends, right?
Yes.
Oh, so she said Blair. Yeah, you're right, Lindsay. She's right.
Nice.
That's how you say it. I don't even know how you
Very
say her
cool.
name.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've done well. You've done very well professionally. What do you wish you knew when you were starting out your career, or what have been like your guidelines, your mantras that help you to succeed on a professional level at Beauty
Yeah.
Counter?
Well, certainly for Beauty Counter, it's also kind of Beauty Counter, I feel like penned the story to this book because what I see is that I always say there's no magic, there's no fairy dust, that hard work is hard work. And nobody is more special than anybody else. If you want it, you can have it. And that's what I think about with Beauty Counter, because people think that, or at least I believe, that people that are sort of up at the top, that that there's something like unicorn about them. Like that there's just something magical, or they're so lucky, or that couldn't be further from the truth. They work their tails off. And so for me, that what I think that for anybody, and I say this to kids, like, you can have anything you want. Do you want to work for it? Do you want to sacrifice? Do you want to stay the course? Do you want it? Then you can have it. It's not going to be easy. Tons of disappointment, tons of failure, tons of all of that. But if you want it, and that was a little bit for me with Beauty Counter, I knew that I wanted to stay in it.
Yeah.
So I didn't judge myself every month. Like, was I successful? Did I not meet my marks? Did I not? I was like, no, I'm in it for the long game. And even now, like, you know, I've been there 5 years. Like, I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think when you don't give yourself the out, I think giving yourself the out is full of anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, stay in.
I want to talk to you about your sleep and like what you do at night, nighttime rituals.
Okay. Well, this is a double negative. We've never not had a child in our bed. Never. And Rocket is 8. She's still in our bed. And that is by choice, because I'm psycho and I love sleeping with little people.
So cute.
My poor husband.
She comes and sleeps with you the whole night.
Oh, we just start off that way. And we start off, like we watch The Office and then we go to bed. Like, it's like, I could write a whole book on like how to not parent. That could be my second book. Like, don't do.
It's working.
Well, yeah. So my nighttime routine is really not one. I get into bed with Rocket, and Adam's with the older kids. He stays up, and you know, we watch a show, and then I go to bed probably 10:30 or so. And during quarantine, I've been getting up before 6, which I never used to do that before. But I get up now.
Has that changed? Like, if I was going to bed at 10:30 and waking up before 6, I would feel tired. Like, do you not feel tired with that?
I feel tired. Yeah. I do feel tired.
How do you
I don't like to get up that early.
How do you manage your energy through the day? Do you do coffee, tea? Do you take supplements?
Yeah, coffee. I do take like iron, because I know I've got like some anemic stuff, but I don't take probably as much as I should. I drink a lot of coffee. I'm not the best eater. I could really not eat for a long time, periods of time. Like, I'm just not good at that, you know?
Yeah. What about exercise? What do you do for exercise?
Yeah. Every morning. Well, I used to be a runner, so I used to run marathons. I did that. And then after that piece was over, I started to do like bar workouts, right? Everyone did like the bar thing. And then a couple of years ago, actually, when my mom was dying, I'm like, I can't go to class because I couldn't drop my kids at school, work all day, and be with my mom. Something had to give. Like, I couldn't do it. So I started working out at home, and then we got a Peloton bike, and, you know, now we do classes. So I do everything at home now. Cool. I miss the community of classes, but I shouldn't say I can't fit it in. I'm choosing not to fit it in.
Well, you do it literally every morning.
I do.
Pretty much fitting it in.
Well, but again, I think that this is an age thing, right?
Yeah.
At my age now, it's about that I want my heart to be healthy, and I want to live a long time.
Yeah.
Where 10 years ago, I wanted to look awesome in my bathing suit and my clothing and all this stuff. Where now it's like, I just don't want to look bad. Like, there's an opposite, right? Like, it's like, I just
look pretty good.
I just don't want to look bad. Well, because it's like now I just want to move my body around, you know, get the endorphins out. I mean, I joke that I'm on my Peloton, like, drinking my coffee. Like, I mean, I'm not even like, I'm kind of phoning it in half the time.
Okay, tell us, if we're about to go inside, like, you're kind of inspiring me to like do a photo shoot. Like, I kind of
do it.
I love the idea of you and your husband going out into the alley. You put on like something that brings you a lot of joy, and you take a picture. Like, I'm really inspired by that. So like, I know that the clothing I have here at my boyfriend's house are limited. I probably have like 10 colorful things, and like I love fashion. Like, I was you know, interning at Vogue when I was in college. I was super into fashion for so long. What do we do when all of us get off this call and go towards our closet? Let's say we all challenge ourselves to do a photo shoot. What can we think? What can you prompt us with? A question that will help us to get inspired?
One, I guess, again, this is so subjective, but for me is like, you know, I don't like to match, right? Yeah. So that's probably uncomfortable for people, right? It's probably like, this doesn't go together, which I probably would love. Yeah. I'd also say, like, you know, can you cut any of it? Can you like cut the sleeves off, or can you like make it a thing, or like, I don't know, something that makes it different. So
you've given us ideas. Okay, we have 1 minute left. What I want to challenge people, if this is okay with you, is why don't we go off at some point today? Everyone put on an outfit that brings you joy. Take a picture, and we DM it to Christina. Does that work? Would you love that?
It would give me so much joy. I would love it.
I'm gonna do it. I hope a couple of you will do it with me, and I really want to see the photos.
Yeah.
Well,
and I also want to share, because I hope like my beauty counter tribe, I hope comes over to your page and watches your videos, because you showcase amazing people like from all walks of life.
Yes.
So I will definitely share, because I know that all those people, I mean, there's 50,000 of us.
Yeah.
You know, so you have something for everybody.
Amazing. I want to say thank you so much. You've given us so much time. You've given us so much energy. So many people on this, like more than ever, people on this have said, this is giving me exactly what I need. This is giving me so much life.
That's so nice.
Wow. Happy Sunday. I'm sending love
Thank
to
you.
Chicago, and I'm glad we're friends now.
Yeah. Now we're connected. Awesome.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Buy the book.